I was inspired to first write The 12 Gifts of Birth in 1987, actually, a long time ago, when my daughters were teenagers, 16 and 17 years old, and I woke up one day in my kitchen, not from sleep, but just that wake-up experience.
Right.
Like, where did the time go?
Before they went off to college, I wanted to offer some more guidance about life and let them know how much I love them. And I first made a little handmade book for them with this message.
Kind of a little love story almost for your kids.
And how did you decide that this is something you wanted to share with everyone? I mean, were your kids just overwhelmed with saying, publish this, or did it sort of come to you like this is what you wanted to do?
Well, after I made this little handmade primitive book for them, I did realize, because it begins with a message that is for all the children of the world, that I didn't want only my children to have this. I wanted to get it out there, tried to get it published, got rejected by more than 20 publishers, and finally published it last fall.
Live from Portland, KATU presents AM Northwest.
This woman defied her critics and published her own book, and it sold over 250,000 copies so far.
But success is definitely a word that can be used to describe Charlene Costanzo.
Charlene says she's overwhelmed by the response to her book. Not only are schools using it for their students, but churches of all denominations, even women in prison, are finding inspiration in it.
Everyone has a special gift. Everyone.
The 12 Gifts of Birth reminds readers of all ages to see dignity in themselves and others, a gift that costs nothing but is priceless.
Share the truth and be ready for the miracle to unfold as the prophecy of the wise women comes true.
Tell me about the fishbowl full of rocks. What's the meaning there?
Well, you know, after I wrote the book for my children, it's a message for all the children of the world. I want all children to know how valuable they are. And everywhere I go, besides reading the book, I offer, and I'll offer one to you, polished stones, because unfortunately, sometimes we all feel like plain, dull, old, worthless rocks. But when a stone is tumbled and polished, in each one there's richness, beauty, and value. So for the times you don't see it in yourself, your stone is meant to remind you how beautiful and valuable you are. What is your stone going to remind you of? How valuable you are.
That's right. In this week's More You Know report, Kathy Saban shares this inspiring story for kids describing the gifts they are born with and how they can use them to enrich the lives of others.
Did anyone notice one of their talents, one of their special abilities this weekend?
Charlene Costanzo is visiting with students at Colfax Elementary School today. She has written a new book just for them.
At the wondrous moment you were born, as you took your first breath, a great celebration was held in the heavens, and 12 magnificent gifts were granted to you. Oh.
You know, in fairy tales that we grew up with, it was only the royalty, the sleeping beauties that were granted.
Exactly.
Strength. But you want all children.
Yes, I do.
To see their gifts.
Well, and I realized after I wrote it that I was a little bit inspired by the Sleeping Beauty story, because I remembered being a little girl and how I felt when this fairy godmothers brought those gifts to Sleeping Beauty. And I thought, well, don't I and don't all children deserve these gifts?
Our very first author is a beautiful woman named Charlene Costanzo. When Charlene was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, she did not want to fight her cancer, but was determined to release it from her system. Her second book, 12 Gifts of Healing, helped her to heal. Charlene's third book, The 12 Gifts of Marriage, reflects the ebbs and flows of 35 years of marriage to her wonderful husband, Frank.
We are waking up. And the thing is to keep having, I know that there are more wake-up experiences ahead for us, small ones, beautiful ones that wake up when we wake up, when we look at a flower, or when we just notice the sunset, and some of the big ones that really shake our foundation. Let's together be the change we want to see in the world. Thank you.
What kind of reaction are you getting to the kids of today as they read this book that you wrote?
I especially visit children in elementary school, 2nd and 3rd grade, and their eyes light up, their faces light up when they hear about it, and they, in fact, some, they'll say, "Is it true? I have these gifts?"
Really new now is a DVD. a film adaptation. I'm going
Of
into
the
a new
books.
industry of
Okay.
the 12 Gifts for Healing.
Okay.
In celebration of film and my new little DVD, which will be available free to
Oh,
watch
it's food.
on my on my website. Okay. But
so wonderful,
an
Charlene.
understanding of
Yes.
smells great. A little aromatherapy.
Oh,
yeah.
It's perfect.
Some Tootsie Roll.
Uh-huh.
Tanya likes Tootsie
You
Roll.
want some popcorn?
Yeah.
You know, when you're feeling frustration, regret, resentment,
Yeah. Oh,
here's
I
a good
like
way to act upon that intention of releasing them.
Really?
Yeah, it seems to be working.
It really.
Oh, no, mine's not working.
You have to get the right angle.
Oh, there we go.
Time, you know, is so precious, our time with our children, and it's so important that we really listen and we let them know how valuable they are. It is kind of a philosophy about life.